Hey, everybody. Sorry for being tardy, but I'm here. I made it. This is still an AMA. I think I'm still Kevin Murcko. This is still Coin Metro. If you're in the wrong place, hang out. Maybe you're going to have a good time. Maybe you have a question to ask. Maybe it's not even related to crypto. Maybe it's really weird. I don't know. But it is Friday, so that's what we do here. You ask a question, I try to answer it. I'm about 13 minutes late today. I was trying to get set up here, traveling in a hotel. Yeah. And, as you get older, connecting to the internet is rough. And it was a bit rough today. But anyway, glad I'm here. We got about 30, maybe 40 minutes. Let's see what happens. Hey, Bobby, number one in the room today. Nice to see you. Did you guys hang out and see Oliver's walkthrough on the margin platform? Hope you did. If not, you should check it out. It should be on our YouTube channel already. Yeah. Coin Metro merch shirt back on. You're welcome. It's a little cold in the room, so I had to put a jacket on top, but, staying true to form as much as I can. Hey, Kev, what's new in Coin Metro land? Anything amazing to share? Well, had a shareholders meeting today, shared a lot of stuff with our shareholders. I think there's always amazing stuff to share at Coin Metro, to be honest. As I just asked, hopefully most of you saw Oliver's walkthrough on the demo margin platform. I think that new update is amazing. It's probably one of the biggest updates we've ever done. Our app, our margin platform. Look, the other night, me and Oliver shared a few forehead beers. If you guys don't know what forehead beer is, it's forehead beer. I mean, what does that really need an explanation? I don't know. It's beer bottled for Coin Metro, and it's got a big forehead on it of yours truly. We shared a few forehead beers we were going through and just kind of auditing stuff. Internally, externally. We went to a few external platforms, ones that I really have almost never used. And if I've used, I maybe used once or twice. And I got to tell you, between everything we checked, I couldn't find one platform, whether it be visually, whether it be functionality wise, or whether it be just based on, bugs we found in 5 minutes that could touch our mobile and web experience, really. And I think that's amazing. I think we come a long way. I think that is absolutely amazing. Other things to share on Coin Metro land, I think Q1 for us, regardless what the market looks like, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting Q1. I think a lot of really cool stuff is going to happen internally, externally. You're going to see updates. Obviously, you guys are going to see updates, meaning you're going to see them on the platform, stuff like that. More new cool stuff coming. The 1, 2, or 3 things that didn't get rolled out in Q4 will definitely get rolled out Q1. But internally, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces that are going to happen that I think at the end of the day are going to make us a stronger company. So I'm excited to see Q1. I'm excited to see Q2. I'm excited to see Q3. And I'm excited to see actually next year Q4, whether or not it's the fourth quarter that crypto didn't gain on the charts. I don't think it's going to be the third. I don't think we're going to see 2 in a row or the third next year, but we'll see. Yep. Thank you, Bobby. Morning, Skylar. Nice to see you. OG was awesome. Need more Oliver content. Yeah, I agree. You guys, look, if the market demands it, he's got to do it, right? Just demand it, man. Keep saying you want to see more Oliver. You're going to see more Oliver. Wouldn't it be better for the company to stop throwing money away on XCM staking bonus, instead putting it to marketing and getting that trade volume up while waiting for the next bull market? If it was that simple, like it was cash going somewhere, and we had to find the right way to put it, right place to put it. Sorry. One of the things I talked about on our shareholder meeting, high level, is that one of the things we're focusing on 2023 is efficiency, optimization, business optimization in general, right? And definitely putting money to where it can give the business the most benefit. Well, that's part of optimization. XCM staking is not cash. We don't put euro into XCM staking. We put XCM into XCM staking. Now, while in the long run, that equates to money, currently right now, it is a way for us to help incentivize new users. And I think it's a good way to do that. We will find more ways. Mars, as it grows, as we start to advertise more of those individual staking programs and Mars becomes a real thing, then I think that will overtake XCM in general as a reason for people to stake XCM. And staking XCM makes sense simply because it takes it outside of circulating supply. And for any token, for investors of that token, for people that bought it for the investment potential, that's always going to make sense. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I too would like to see XCM thriving, but these double staking promos don't solve the fundamental issue. Well, nothing by itself solves the fundamental issue. Well, no fundamental issue, right? I mean, even if we took $1 billion and threw it at marketing right now, it doesn't mean that alone is going to solve the fundamental issue, because maybe we spend it in the wrong places. Maybe it goes to the wrong things. Maybe the ads we push out suck. I mean, so I think there's multiple things you need to do to solve an issue, or in this case, well, it's an issue. I mean, issue is a pretty broad term, right? But really, what it is a something every business needs to do. Every business, if you ask them, well, what do you want to do this year? They might not say it, but underlining is more revenue, more clients, right? That's it. And that's absolutely what we want to be doing as well. But that one thing alone, actually, this helps that. And that also, that one thing alone doesn't necessarily solve every issue the company has. And if we stop XCM staking, we'll create trust issues. We'll create more circulating supply. We will slow down the progress to cleaning up the book, etc. Yo, when shareholder recording made available? I'm in the U.S., not able to attend live. I've tried to get a couple of recordings. Still haven't gotten it from DMing me twice. This is really important. Please DM me again today. I'll send you the old one. This one we did not record. And I think that was in the email we sent out. The reason I didn't record it is that we need to find a better way to do these shareholder meetings when it comes to recordings. Why? There's 130 shareholders. And while I don't think any of those shareholders would act in a way that could be detrimental to the company on purpose, I think those links can easily get shared. And the problem is that when they're shared, yes, somebody needs to actually click and say the person can access, but that can still happen. And then someone gets access that shouldn't have access, or it's posted somewhere and then somebody else gets it and it goes on to a bigger forum. And there's a bunch of requests that some may or may not get approved. So we didn't record this meeting. We do have a presentation. We can definitely send you that. You can DM me. I'll send you the presentation as well. Still trying to figure out the best way to do it. There's probably a better platform to do shareholder meetings on, to be honest, where only the people that are shareholders can see it. There's no need to do any extra admin afterwards by, admitting people and going through Google, emails from Google, et cetera, et cetera. So if anyone knows of a platform that's really geared towards you get an invite, you can see, no one else can see. There's no way, or if there's a way to set up Google like that. I went through it myself, and a few other people I think have, and we couldn't find that sweet spot to where it would make sense. But please DM me again so it's at the top. Understand, I get thousands of messages a day. I really do, thousands. And even when I respond once, that means it's no longer a new message. And then I say, okay, I'll get back to you in an hour or so, or tomorrow. But then tomorrow I have 1,000 more messages. And it's sometimes difficult for me, many times difficult for me, to keep up with all those messages. So it's not me trying to ignore you. It's not me. It's just, that's just it. So don't worry if you message me more than once. I'm not going to get annoyed, or twice or 3 times or 4 times. Good morning, Kevin. What are your thoughts on the Fed investigation into CZ as well? I've said that there's a Fed investigation into CZ for 3, 4, 5 years. That's been there forever. That's nothing new. And so I don't have anything new to say about it. They've been investigating them forever. Why? Because it was clear, especially in the beginning. I think it's still clear now, but it was clear, especially in the beginning, that they were allowing for, illegal funds to transmit through their platform, and in mass amounts. And so that investigation has always been there, literally probably from maybe not day 1, but maybe day 180, day 60. It's been there a while. Any ETN want a solution to pay out the FlexPair rewards on a regular basis we found and implemented? I don't have an answer to that one. Unfortunately, what I can say is that there's manual effort required there. A lot of times those things fail when we go over the API and we have to talk to Flux, and then Flux, helps us make sure that those things get paid. Then we have to run the calculations, and then we have to push Flux to the accounts. And none of that stuff is necessarily automated. And I don't know if we can actually automate it, because even the manual solutions are somewhat automated, and a lot of times they don't actually work as described, and we have to go and do some manual work behind the scenes. And there's not everyone in our dev team knows how to do that stuff, and so then it's limited to that person's time, and then it has to be prioritized. And while obviously if you're waiting for those rewards, it's priority to you, but as a company, if there's 10 other things that are potentially going to drive revenue, or that have been waiting, or that are sitting on that roadmap, those things need to be looked at first. So I can't give you an answer on that one, unfortunately, right now. But inside our feedback channel, et cetera, on Telegram, You can ask. It is something that's being worked on. I think Oliver said something to that effect earlier today, or looked into, I should say. It's not necessarily worked on yet, but we're trying to figure out how we can do that, so that those one or two people that actually know how to do it don't necessarily be burdened either every time Flux pays out some rewards. Also, the new margin trading is sweet. Well done. Thank you, KDA Miner. I like it, man. Like I said, we compared it to a few other places, and I got to tell you, we got on one platform, which is, bigger than us for sure. And within about 3 minutes, we found 7-8 bugs. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought we were on some type of, I thought somehow we got on their release candidate, or I don't know, so some demo platform. And no, it was a live platform. And those bugs definitely made user experience bad. I mean, it wasn't like you clicked on a button and it didn't, I don't know, change color or whatever. These weren't, bugs that just annoy you. These were bugs that could definitely affect trading experience, and in a bad way. Hit the like, guys. Yeah, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed here. Why wouldn't you subscribe to this? Are you trying to say this program sucks? I said program. That's an old guy word. Yeah, I'm trying to say this show sucks. I mean, fine. Still subscribe. You can make fun of me every once in a while, make some memes. It's probably going to be all right. I don't know. But yeah, really appreciate all the likes and subscribes. Thank you very much. What measures Coin Metro management takes to mitigate masculinity leadership style in order to avoid discrimination of LGBTQ members of staff? This is a unique question. Mitigate masculinity leadership style. Well, all right, I hate to say it, but saying you're basically saying that dudes, right, or dude style leadership, whatever that really means, is bad, and that it goes against, that it discriminates. That's what you're saying. I find that to be a ludicrous statement in context of what you're asking. It's kind of like asking why, I don't know, I don't even want to say it, but it's kind of like asking if somebody's racist and saying a racist remark in your question. It doesn't make sense to me. So look, we're an open and inclusive company. We have people from all walks of life, all races, a lot of different, maybe not all races, but lots of different races. And we definitely have people from the LGBT community working for Coin Metro, and we don't have an issue. I think, when everybody's an adult, everybody respects each other. That's it. That's not an easy thing to accomplish, but look, when you purposely focus on trying to make one group have a better, an absolutely better, so everybody else is good, but these people somehow, or those people somehow need to be treated better or differently, you're kind of going against the whole ethos of not treating people differently. So it's not about treating one group good. It's about making sure everybody's respected. And we do that. And what measures we take, why there doesn't need to be specific measures. It's a culture, right? It's building a culture of respect other people, respect their views, still have discourse, still be able to speak your mind, but understand that you need to respect people around you. That's it. It's simple, man. It's like what they teach you in kindergarten, right? Treat people like you want to be treated, period. Kevin O'Leary is a liar, and he actually didn't lose anything, yet he's the loudest from the FTX scam. Well, I didn't see the whole testimony. I saw the tidbits, right? Which was, he said, Binance kind of put the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know if you can call him a liar, because I don't know if you can prove him wrong, right? At some point, he might be proven wrong. That doesn't necessarily make him a liar either. Just makes him wrong. Yeah. I guarantee you, everybody that's fluffy right now about FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, every news publication, every whatever, will turn on him, and they'll do it relatively quickly. And that's it. Everybody that has comments like when things like this happen, this is not the first time there's been a Sam Bankman-Fried. This is not the first time there's been fluff pieces about an asshole, or a criminal or whatever, or he might not be a criminal. Maybe we all just don't know what happened, but give him the benefit of the doubt to say, until proven guilty. So whatever, but this has happened all the time. The thing is that most people in crypto, this is their first merry-go-round ride, man. It's the first time they've ever seen things like this. So they think they know what's going on, and they make ridiculous comments like, oh, he gave money to the Democrats and Republicans. He's not going to go to jail. oh, no one's going to touch him. The system's fucking this or that or the other. Yeah, the system is corrupt. Every system is corrupt. Doesn't matter where you are. They're all corrupt in some way, shape, or form because humans are corrupt. Boom, right? However, he's absolutely going to jail. I said it in the beginning. I'll say it now. Life. He's going to get life in prison. The charges you see now, there'll be way more. And eventually, as soon as that trial really starts to get underway and the facts, well, the stated facts by the state start to emerge from the New York State Attorney General, every single person, including Kevin O'Leary, will come out and say, look, I was conned by this guy too. I really thought he was legitimate. I need to do better due diligence. I'm sorry. And there'll be a mea culpa. And that's it. He'll be thrown under the bus by everybody. And that's what's going to happen. And I 99.99999% accuracy, that's exactly what's going to happen. And he's loud because he's a loud guy. That's his brand, right? But I don't know if you can call him a liar because nobody knows what happened, actually. And yep, he was paid to support FTX. Absolutely. But you can say he didn't lose anything. If he had the 15 million they paid him on the platform, he lost 15 million. I mean, if you get paid to do a job, you may think getting paid 15 million to do a job is crazy and he didn't deserve it. But somebody might think, well, you get paid for your job, you don't deserve it, right? So he got paid for a job. That's his money. He put it on FTX, supposedly, and he lost it. So he lost money. Yeah, I mean... Hi, Kevin. Is there any effort being put into maintaining CoinMetro relationships with other projects like Flux, THT, KDA, DNA? I would hate to see CoinMetro lose those valuable relationships. Actively, look, it's a bit of a two-way street. So Flux, we have lots of back and forth with because, well, Flux airdrop, the parallel airdrops, all these things. Very frequently, we're back and forth with them. THT, less so. DNA, less so. Cadena used to be a lot, now less so. However, we will have our first BizDev employee the beginning of next year. And that reminds me, I got to finish something about that. If People Operations is listening. So that's going to start a process by which there will be more and more interactive conversations and potentially even projects with those listings, those companies, as well as new companies. So there is, the fact we haven't had a BizDev department wasn't necessarily by design. It was due to limited resource, but we're going to start building one next year. What's the mechanism for limit orders being filled by AMMs? When I look at existing orders, are there user orders or AMM made ones? Okay, so you mean, well, automated market makers are kind of a term used by DEXs. When you put all your assets into a pool and then automatically you're creating a price based on how much ETH versus how much, whatever, or USDC versus how much asset you put in there. It takes the ratio, creates a price, populates the order book. We use MMs, market makers, but they're not they don't work the same way. They either work on net settlement at the end of the day, meaning if 2 Bitcoin is bought and 2 Bitcoin is sold, nobody owes anybody anything. If 10 Bitcoin are bought, 2 Bitcoin are sold. That's an 8 Bitcoin difference, and they send us 8 Bitcoin at the end of the day, basically, or vice versa, right? So the mechanism is first in, first out. It's called FIFO. You can look it up. It's a standard mechanism for filling orders in any market. So your order goes in, and if it's first, it goes out first. There's other complexities to it, but that's the basics. What do you think about Fidelity offering crypto trading for retail investors? Well, inevitable. Look, wherever there's money to be made, if somebody has a trading platform, eventually they're going to offer an asset they can make money on. They're not, necessarily worried about doing it first because, well, not a lot of volume, whatever. They don't, what are they going to make? Even if they took over 10% of the volume of the market, which they're probably not going to do, it's still relatively small compared to speaking to the rest of their business. It just shows that they want to make money. It does mean that maybe there's going to be some more access to more individuals, more choice. More choice in a market is always good. Probably not going to be the cheapest. Probably not going to have a lot of assets. Probably not going to be the place where most people go and trade crypto, to be honest. But it opens the door for other institutions like Fidelity to do the same thing. So, any plans to make one's position in the queue visible for those trying to sell XCM or any other asset with limited liquidity? It would be a transparent thing to do. Well, you do have that. When you're at different, you can see your own order, right? Obviously, you don't see, you don't see what position you are in the queue. That's true. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a trading platform. It's an interesting idea, and I'm not against it. So I don't know if it's been discussed. I haven't been in any discussions about it. I'm not sure how difficult it would be to do in terms of, I guess from front end display would be a bit of a question. Like, how do you actually display it? Where does that information go? Is it a line below the order book? It's probably not going to be inside the order book because it's just too much information to display. Is it a tooltip? But it's an interesting idea, and I'm definitely not against it. And you're right. I think it does add a bit of transparency. For most order books, faster moving order books, you're probably never even going to see it. Or, people put a market order and it's gone. They put a limit order, there's not many other people at that level. So the information is probably less important. Once the XCM order book is back liquid, also less important. But it's still an interesting feature that I don't think I've ever seen. So what CM product feature, either existing or new, are you most bullish on for 2023? Yeah, this is a good one. So I think all this hybrid talk is what interests me most for 2023. That doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a major implementation in 2023, but and I've talked about this for years. It's nothing new, and that's decentralized settlement. So you settle between peers, but you settle through a centralized order book. That to me is super interesting. I think passive income is still going to be a thing for sure. I think DCA and making that process so that you can create kind of plans. Important thing. I think someone's knocking on the door. Somebody walks in, just ignore them. So you can actually make plans and kind of also copy other people's plans is going to be important, I believe. I think that's going to be. It's kind of like you have the copy trading platform, which is connected to margin, et cetera. But you're allocating funds versus we get through the DCA, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all these things, and we start to move towards a system by which you can copy people's plans. And you can, I'd like to copy that portfolio basically, and you copy that portfolio spot into your account and then DCA into that same plan. I think that's going to be super interesting. And while you might not see that yet on a roadmap, that you'll see pieces of it already. You see DCA, Apple Pay, Google Pay. There's a process by which we get there, and I think that's going to be super interesting as well. Can you give an office tour? We'd love to see what the office looks like. I know we saw it in a promo video a few years ago. Well, yeah, we can do that. I'm sitting in a hotel room right now, so I can't do it right now. But we could do that. I maybe when I get back to Talon, I can walk around and do. It's not going to be the greatest video. I mean, in terms of quality, probably, but I can knock it out for you guys. Sure. Hi, Kevin. The app is looking really good. Margin UI is looking good too. Great work. Yep, I played no part in that whatsoever. But our product team, our dev team, definitely, and design team takes the absolute credit. And yes, I think it's amazing. I think it now. Previously, with previous versions, we were competing with everyone. I think now we're beating most. And I'm not. I have no qualms in saying that. I think it's true. When marketing is ongoing, man. We have now an amazing marketing team built up, still hiring as well. There's marketing happening all the time. New people come on, they gotta stretch their legs a bit. They gotta get strategy rolling and stuff. In 2023, you're going to see a lot of Coin Metro marketing, and you've probably seen more than you've ever seen up to this point. Anyway, something else I talked about in our shareholders meeting. The team is solid. We're doing things on the PR side. We're doing things on the marketing side. We're doing things on the paid ad side. We're doing things on the general just communication side that we've never done before. And we have amazing people. Just crushing it really. And so I'm excited, and we definitely have marketing. You'll see a lot more of it though. When do you think Coin Metro will be able to offer derivatives trading? It's not necessarily on the radar right now because that requires this investment firm license, which right now we're not actively seeking because we have to seek several other licenses. It might be 2024, might be 2025. I don't know. Yes, there's the ability to make money there. There's also this, derivatives can make money. We all know that. Well, maybe some of us don't, but we all know that. They are inherently risky, not only for the end user, but for the company itself. And I always try to walk the line of, I want people to have access to products that when used correctly can help them do well in a market. But I know that most people that use them, especially initially, will not use them correctly. And I don't want to be another company that most people go to lose money. And so now it's a business. We need to make money. So, at some point, sometimes that morality gets squished or pushed out of the way. but I try my hardest to make sure it doesn't, right? I mean, we, especially in a market where, when you're holding other people's money, when you're offering something that's nice and shiny, that, looks like they can change their life and they wreck their life, that's a terrible thing. It is. It's just fucking terrible. So yeah, we probably will get there. I can't really give you a timeline currently because it's not necessarily on the radar right now. We have a lot of licenses that we're acquiring in 2023, a lot of different registrations and licenses. That's not one of them. It potentially could be. Fundraising, et cetera, will determine how much more resource we can put behind legal, which is what we need to do to get more licenses. Just clarifying on the Flux thing, I'm not talking about the snapshots, but the regular parallel rewards that get paid out parallel to the normal node rewards, which increases staking rewards by 70%. Yeah, well, I got that. And I know I probably talked a bit more about snapshots and et cetera. But I think in all those instances, there is a manual aspect that I'm not sure we know yet how we can automate. And that's it. That's the simple truth. So, but I believe there's now been a discussion in Telegram. I think Oliver commented on it. And so, Oliver's really the guy to ask about those things because, well, he's the one that drives what is not only from his position in product, but also his position he has on the board where he can bring these initiatives to the board and then drive them in product design and then get them pushed over to dev. So he's really the guy to ask, to be honest. You mentioned liquidity providers and maybe large investors will be entering the book in mid-December. Is that next week to help XCM sell walls? So what I mentioned is that in order to get, we have liquidity providers, right? We have them, and we have some willing to price on XCM. What we need, though, is to start the book. So first initiative was to decrease the sell wall. We've done that. Yes, there's a sell wall still. It's a fourth of what it was. So mission accomplished, right? I mean, that mission could have been maybe better accomplished, or it could have been smaller, the sell wall, but we accomplished that mission. Next step is to drive more users to further decrease the sell wall. Once that's done, and that's going to be in process, well, it's always in process, but a lot more marketing initiatives are coming out, early next year, meaning January, literally, and then February, March, et cetera, Q1. As we start to drive more users into CoinMetro and they're buying XCM, then that sell wall gets further decreased. And as the sell wall gets further decreased and we start to see, then it becomes the time to add in a market maker. Now, had the sell wall gone like almost to zero, we would have a market maker in there literally probably before the end of this month. It's not, though. And putting a market maker in there now it might help temporarily solve the issue, but what it will do is eat up capital, and it'll eat up capital faster than the value of that capital is to the problem, really. So it's a process, and we're in that process, and we're continually going through that process. Next step in that process, which is ongoing, is just getting more clients into CoinMetro and getting more users to buy XCM and adding utility value. So there's a reason for them to buy XCM, so they're not just buying it necessarily based on and that's all that stuff is in process. There's different updates coming for tiers. There's different updates coming for utility. There's going to be different updates and different promotions coming, not just stake and reward related, and just general, pushes to get more clients inside of CoinMetro. Awesome response with the ethics question. I appreciate that. I think that's the right response. Maybe not everybody agrees, but you need a shareholder NFT whale room. Okay. Does that means we need a shareholder NFT for whale room? For the thing I talked about, how we can get recordings and stuff just for shareholders. I guess we could look into that. That would be a cool little partnership with one of our listings, actually. It's a good idea. Please hit me up on Telegram about that one, and do it more than once if I don't respond, please. Crypto exchanges and audits. Mazars published their audits on crypto exchanges. Your thoughts on that? Do you think Big Four is able to audit crypto exchanges? What are your experiences with auditors and CM? I haven't seen those audits, to be honest. There's still, again, a centralized crypto exchange has many pieces and a lot assets. While they are one-to-one in total, doesn't necessarily mean they're just sitting in one wallet. They might be at different custodians. They might have went through proxy addresses on a custodian, sit in an omnibus account. They may be sitting in different like merchant service vehicles. They may be sitting in liquidity providers that put them in an omnibus account with other exchanges' money. And so some of those things are just impossible to do given the current idea on how this should be done. The big four, well, we approached some of the big four and we needed an audit, and they pretty much all declined. I think one might have said okay, but their scope just didn't make any sense. It wasn't the scope we needed, meaning it was smaller than what we needed. And we ended up getting an audit firm, which isn't big four, but is available in like 100 different countries, relatively well known. And yeah, there's been some struggles, right? Because look, the mechanics of a crypto exchange, if it's run like any other brokerage, is not dissimilar to any other brokerage. The only difference is crypto. But explaining what a wallet is and how they can get the balances and how confirmations in some cases aren't needed from counterparties because you can see it on chain, but it's still a complex business. And it's the same thing getting audited if you're an FX company, if you're a FX brokerage or an equity brokerage, whatever. It's never a 100% straightforward process. When DCA automatic investments, they will finally get me off Coinbase. Coming Q1. They were going to come in Q4, but there were 2 or 3 things that had to get pushed by product to Q1. And that's one of them. What happened to the earn tab? Does it come back? Yeah, it's absolutely going to come back. I think the staking area of the website is going to get a remake so that those pages have more information, allow you to make better choices, better decisions. So yeah, but it's coming. How many XCM are bought every day? Keep it up. Every day is different, right? It's not, I've seen right after the book was reset, I saw a couple days between like 3,000 and 5,000, I think about 5,000 XCM, something like that, maybe a little bit more than that. But historically, while the wall was there, some days were in the hundreds of euros, hundreds of XCM. Some days were in the low thousands. Previous, in Q4, we would see days at 30K, 50K, 100K, 150K, 200K. So it reflects the market a lot, right? So when there is a bullish market, we get more clients buy XCM. There's more volume. It's as simple as that. And the way long term we fix that is that we provide enough utility where there is a need for people to buy XCM, and there is a value over and above the speculative value, which is something that we have constantly been pursuing. And because this XCM thing is now front and center, it literally is one of the things that the company's focused on primarily. You will see more of it. And I know it seems like it takes a lot of time, but yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, it's a big effort. What will kill CSZ first, liquidity, tether, or SEC? Well, any one of those 3 could be a catalyst, right? There's a lot of stuff. There's way more things that are behind all that stuff. Of ethics, how they run the business, their history, doing business in sanctioned countries, all kinds of stuff. And I think the SEC push, if charges are filed, could potentially push a bigger bank run on them that potentially could strain liquidity. And that liquidity strain may lead to, assume they have all assets 1-to-1, but everybody came in tomorrow, 100% of their clients, and assume they actually have them. But again, they're not all going to be in one wallet. And it takes them 3 or 4 weeks to get funds to everybody, right? Now, the first withdrawals would go out quickly, but as the strain got bigger and they had to move funds through different systems they don't control, it could take weeks. And in those weeks, the amount of anxiety, people would start to disbelieve whatever they said, and it would make things worse. And that potentially could push the SEC. It could also cause a ripple in tether because people could if there's a tether delay at Binance, people may think that it's tied to tether and how their reserves aren't necessarily 100%, et cetera. So it could be any of them. And to be honest, you could roll the dice and probably be as accurate as I would be if we make a guess what it could be. I did see that Arminio or whatever, who did FTX's and Binance's audit. And well, that tells you a lot. One, there are companies that get out of stuff like that because there's just not enough business and the cost outweighs the gain. And then there's companies that do something and say, shit, this is going to get scrutinized now. And we could be wrong because we don't fully understand how to verify some of those assets. And we took the word of whoever. So yeah, interesting. Do you see more users, volume, liquidity coming to CoinMetro in the short term after the fall of other exchanges? How do you aim to increase U.S. customer adoption? CMC is more geared towards the EU. Well, I would say, naturally speaking, we probably are more quote unquote geared to the EU because we're based in the EU right now. It's where our headquarters are. But a good percentage of our clients, I don't know what it is currently in terms of active clients, but it's got to be 20, 25% come from the US. And, but EU is a wide open market. There's much more competition for the US market than there is for most of the EU market. Most of the EU market just has regional players. They don't really have an EU-wide player. So there is definitely a focus on the EU. We're going to be focusing primarily EU, then UK, then US, basically over the next year. We're still going to have focus on the US. It's just 3 out of 3. It's not 3 out of 3, but it's the top 3. It's in the top 3, and it's number 3. Sorry. The fall of other exchanges. Look, I mentioned this also in our shareholder meeting. So you had a similar question. I think we will look to capitalize now with a very proactive marketing team when things happen in the market, right? But there's also a limit, I think, to what we should be saying. If Binance were to fail tomorrow, I don't think saying, hey, were you at Binance? Come to us, we're better, is necessarily the right way to do it, because people get hurt. People will lose money. Some people will lose their life savings. Other people will lose their monthly income, their rent, their car payment, whatever. And it's going to cause a lot of pain, just like FTX caused pain. And I think there's ways to capitalize on that by doing standard marketing, just saying, look, we have a great product that's transparent. We're open. We do AMAs. We've been here since 2017. We've been trying to do things the right way. What's happened recently sucks, but we've always tried to do things the right way. We haven't necessarily had to change anything we're doing because we were already doing these things. And so, yes, to answer your question, yes, we will be more proactive than we were in the past because we have a bigger team. We have a team more focused on client acquisition. How do you increase U.S. adoption? Well, it's the same way everybody does it. It's about resources. So, influencers is a big part of that. It's a big part of the U.S. Well, not only U.S., but it's definitely a big part of the U.S. market. Another big part is just figuring out in what local markets you should maybe be advertising a little bit more, physical, like billboards or bus stops, et cetera, et cetera. Those things still work. People still see those things. Putting ads in games, et cetera, and targeting certain markets that that the demographics you're looking for are playing those games, et cetera. So you're going to see a lot of different things. CoinMetro is really going to be doing a lot of different things in marketing. It's just about getting the right messages to the right people. That's always what it's about. Again, we have a much different team. We have an amazing person on the team now that's basically all about kind of research. And we have a head of marketing that's putting in all the work needed and really starting to drive. Our ex-head of marketing was influential in making sure that we pivoted from what we were doing wrong to what we're now doing, and their new head of marketing is now taking that and just adding gas to the fire. So we also have, like I said, a PR that's, I think, crushing it. If you probably see, maybe you've seen me in more publications, you've seen more quotes from me, et cetera. That's going to continue to happen as well. We're getting our voice out there. People are understanding again who we are. We're, always been talking about regulation, always been talking about doing the right thing, blah, 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 blah. And so everything we're doing now, X10 is how we get, more clients in any market, really, including the US. Can CM be the first exchange to prove one-to-one backing of customer assets? We could. The question is how to do it. Because we can get an auditor to say to do an audit and just post the audit. But there will be a lot of people in the market say, well, how do we trust that? And to a certain extent, they're right. That's how traditional markets work. I mean, you just have to trust it. And then sometimes you find out you shouldn't have trusted it. But again, that's how it works. Doing it on chain is nearly impossible because we have counterparties and we can't account on chain for those assets because they may or may not have them in omnibus style wallets. I think the way forward there is some type of SRO, a self-regulating organization, where kind of the businesses we do business with and others as well are inside of that organization. And we find a way to structure wallets that we use in between the companies so that it is one-to-one in all those wallets. But that's not going to happen tomorrow. So there's really an open question to the community. How do we do this? What would you feel is the adequate way to do this? But really I don't want a gimmick. I don't want here's all the assets we hold. You're welcome. That doesn't show anything. Here, I mean, liabilities, when it's liabilities on a ledger, not on a wallet, can still be manipulated. So even if we show you liabilities, we could be lying. And obviously, I'm not saying we would be. We obviously wouldn't lie, but we could. And the whole point of showing transparency isn't just about showing a number on a screen, whether it's right or wrong. Transparency, I think you have to live it. And I think we have lived it since the beginning. We've been really transparent since the beginning, when things were bad, when they were good, when they sucked, and when they were amazing. We've always been transparent. And yeah, sometimes we faltered, and sometimes we had to say we were sorry, and sometimes we made bad choices. But I think we've been pretty honest about those things. And so I think transparency isn't just about one thing. It's about a lot of things. But we want to get this one thing right, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Will you be looking for investments from Arab nations the next funding round? Yes. I'll be flying out to Dubai end of January into early Feb with a few meetings already in the books. Any thoughts on the Schwab, Citadel Securities, Fidelity, etc., called the EDX markets? What was supposed to launch this month? Will it be serious competition? It will be competition, probably more for similar entities that want to do the same thing. I don't expect it to get a massive amount of retail activity that's currently with retail exchanges. There may be some people that bank with those that have, were using some exchange and end up doing some of their business through the same bank they're already using or investment house. But no, I don't think so. For the same reason that it's kind of like asking now, right off the beginning, you might see a flux, right? But just look at what was the New York based. Oh my God, I was going to sell an ETF, obviously, but I forget. Well, anyway, their volumes, I forget the name of the company. Their volumes went from the regulated guys that was like, it's like the wife of the guy who ran NASDAQ or something. I forget. Their volume popped in the beginning and they went to shit, still shit. Right. So, I think what it's kind of like asking the question, do you think a new bank, if a new Chase Manhattan or whatever Chase opened up tomorrow, or a new whatever UBS, whatever your bank is, right? Would it derail Revolut, Monzo? And no, it wouldn't, because it really are two different things, even though they're doing things that are similar. Which departments do you plan to focus on hiring for next year? IT and marketing. Which departments have been toughest to hire for? IT. Have you picked up employees from other crypto exchanges, tech companies? Absolutely, from tech companies. I don't think we have anybody from crypto exchange. Oh, well, yeah, our head of marketing used to work for a crypto company that has over 1 million clients that really focuses on one specific region in Europe, but they do well. And he was part and partial because, for them to get that done. Tech companies as well. We have people from Wise. We have people from, banks, but that were working kind of in similar fields that they work with us. So yeah, absolutely. I think I answered that. That was a quick one. Hey Kevin, what's your opinion on Andrew Tate? I've met Andrew Tate. He's not the same person. He's a brand. I've met a lot of people online that have a brand, and their online brand is kind of almost like a cartoon version of themselves. So if they're X in real life, they're X to the 100th, or X plus 1 in parentheses to the 100th. It's them plus a little salt, and then it's completely amplified. And I would say that kind of classifies Andrew Tate. I'm not saying some of the things he says he doesn't necessarily believe, at least maybe, a much less egregious version. But generally speaking, it's a brand. And it's a brand that served him quite well. So, I almost look at that as a parody. It's kind of like a parody, almost like a comedian, right? If he marketed himself that way, he probably wouldn't have done as well as he's done. And he probably wouldn't be as controversial, which means he wouldn't have as many viewers. So, as a business, I think he's done well. Did you already do the BizDev update? Also, I haven't. Same BizDev kind of updates. We got some merchant services going on. We got some things potentially with crypto ATMs going on. That's going to be a little bit more long term. And what else we got? Some mining stuff potentially going on. So the same things, just moving. Once the BizDev role is solidified, we're going to see a bit more movement on those things. Who are the most down to earth people you follow in the global crypto community? I don't follow many people in the crypto community, to be honest. And most have a brand, even though in real life, again, different. I like the Wolf of All Streets. I don't know if necessarily, I think he's down to earth, but he's funny, he's sarcastic, and I just kind of like, the cut of his jib, as it were. I think I like his style, and I enjoy kind of reading his tweets, so that's the one thing that pops into my head. Andrew Tate formations are scams. Scam. I don't even know what an Andrew Tate formation is, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll share that one for another day because we're 45 minutes in and I need to get something done before our end of the week meeting. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Good question, but I'm going to leave this one here. And, you know, I don't necessarily like to share those details because, you know, I'd have to, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if maybe I got to ask. And if I share too many details, I may cross a line somewhere. So, but yeah, we met in Miami. And we met kind of at an event where we happened to sit at the same table and just shared some cross the table conversations. So, yeah, and that's it. We will top it up there. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the amazing questions. As always, thanks for all the support. Thanks for understanding. Thanks for the critiques and the criticisms that help us do better. You know, I like a lively community. And so never feel afraid to say what you mean. Obviously, if you're an asshole, somebody might tell you you're an asshole, but that's life. Have a great weekend. If you can't spend time with friends and family physically, do it virtually. And of course, while you're doing it, make sure they know that the XCM wall is smaller now. So what the fuck are they waiting for, right? Yeah, that's it. If you need to contact me, please do for whatever reason on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. You can also tweet me at Kevin Murcko. If I don't respond, if I say I'll get back to you and I don't, that's not me trying to ghost you. That's because I get thousands of messages a day. And it's not easy for me to keep up. And sometimes even prioritize those things just become jumbled in my brain. And so don't be afraid to continue to poke and prod. I'm not going to get upset. In fact, I might, that's kind of what I need to make sure that I stay on point. So thanks, everybody. Cheers.